Welcome to the Picard Maneuver. I'm Tim.
And I'm Joel. So we decided today to do an episode on people that we would love to see make guest appearances on the Picard show. Star Trek has been an awesome show for actors, character actors, to make guest appearances on. So there's been a lot of actors who famously have shown up in different episodes of Star Trek just to kind of have fun with the show. We were going to do a list of people that we wanted to see guest star. We started with this one particular person, and we were so interested in the story that kind of evolved or unfolded around this person that we decided to just focus on this episode with just this one person. So that person is...
Sir Ian, action. Wizard, you shall not pass!
Sir Ian McKellen. Of course, famously, Patrick Stewart and McKellen are really close friends. They've worked together on X-Men. McKellen has of course, a brilliant career, a memorable career. It'd be great to see him on Picard with Patrick Stewart. We've never seen Ian McKellen on Star Trek before. A lot of the best moments have been with actors that Patrick Stewart seems to play off really well, like Brent Spiner, Marina Sirtis, and Jonathan Frakes.
McKellen officiated the wedding ceremony of Patrick Stewart. So very, very close. There's no way that friendship would not come across on screen. We started kind of developing, well, how would he appear on the show? What would his character be?
This Admiral being played by Sir Ian McKellen. This Admiral would effectively be a parallel of Picard. Perhaps he could have been a crew member of the Stargazer, who Picard knew back then, or maybe he knew him back in the Academy. It would be great if he had been a captain at the same time as Picard, and perhaps commanded a USS Galaxy or another of the Galaxy-class ships around the same time. Where they diverge is that he never left Starfleet.
What did he do about the Mars attacks?
So we were thinking that he could have been off on another mission, separated from Starfleet during that period, and thus wouldn't have been there to sort of have that same conflict as Picard. So what's being posed as a fundamental sort of question or problem with the Federation and Starfleet in the first season of Picard is how do they treat otherness? How do they treat the xenophobia that they're sort of dealing with over the ex-Borg and the Romulans? One entity on Star Trek Next Generation I always thought was really fascinating, and perhaps one of the most other aliens they encountered was the Crystalline Entity.
It essentially destroys anything living on a planet.
There is an episode, Silicon Avatar, where they sort of Picard has this moment to sort of, he chooses not to destroy the Crystalline Entity, but instead try to communicate with it.
What cooler diplomatic mission could you have for the Admiral Ian McKellen to go on to try to form a better relationship with this species, the Crystalline Entities?
So he spends basically years on this sort of exploration, trying to communicate, trying to find some way of communicating, but somehow he comes to terms with the Crystalline Entity, and in a way that ultimately is benefiting the Federation somehow too. He comes back. We wanted him to be, Ian McKellen's character, to be a good admiral.
What Picard would have been if he stuck with Starfleet. So we realized that could create some conflict between this Admiral character and Picard, because maybe he's frustrated with why Picard would give up on Starfleet. Part of why this Admiral would even go on this mission, this diplomatic mission, was because of Picard and how Picard originally dealt with the Crystalline Entity.
On one hand, he's annoyed that he wasn't here to sort of be in Starfleet and to stand beside Picard and help him save the Romulans and maybe do something, save the androids. But on the other hand, maybe he's also recognizes that he doesn't know how he could have done anything different than Picard, and he fears that in this same position as Picard, he probably would have ended up also quitting Starfleet.
Of course, we wanted to figure out how would that be resolved.
A Drumhead Speech-like moment where Picard finally takes on Starfleet. At the scene just before Picard goes to talk to the other admirals and basically the heads at Starfleet. We would like to see Ian McKellen's character give him a coach-like speech. You represent like what is important about Starfleet. When he had to sort of face that Crystalline Entity and sort of resolve that problem, it was really Picard that started that.
Remember who you are, Simba. And then you have the speech. You have the moment where Picard, to a room of people, maybe Starfleet admirals and other higher ranking officers, he has to then remind them also of who we are, who is Starfleet. And as he's giving this speech, of course, you have Ian McKellen in the background giving a knowing nod.
It definitely represents for us what we'd like to see, which is basically a retribution or a reformation of what Starfleet really is.
Sir Ian actually did a speech in Lord of the Rings as Gandalf that would probably fit perfectly into this episode, where he's kind of talking about dark times and how you can still have hope in those moments. Cut to that clip, Joel.
So do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. there are other forces at work in this world, Frodo, besides the will of evil.
The show kind of represented what could be the best of humanity, getting to a point of a utopian world that still exists, that the hope still exists, that humanity can still hold those things as their kind of guiding light, and that people like McKellen and Picard can still stand for that and help redirect maybe a ship that's lost its direction.
Or a broken compass.
Or a broken compass.
Admiral McKellen fixes Soji's compass.
There you go. We're talking about this as if he is going to be cast, he's going to be in Star Trek Picard. Yes, we realize this will probably never happen. This is a dream. This was something that as we got talking about it, we thought, wouldn't this be great?
You know what I'd love to hear? Is who you think will be a great guest star on Star Trek Picard going forward. If you got any ideas out there, because we had one idea.
Maybe we'll take your idea and run with it, and we'll create kind of an episode around the guest star that you suggest. So thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate you guys checking this video out. We had fun doing it. Like, subscribe, do your thing. And as always, I hope we kept you engaged.
Fool of a Took.
Again.